Howdy, it's B.
Hey there, I'm Mark, and we're your real estate dream team.
That's right. We are handing you the keys and cranking the gears that turn your dreams into your.
Welcome back, everybody. So today we have a really exciting topic, and that is if you're a home seller, if you're thinking about selling your home in 2026, what should you do, Bess? What mistakes should you avoid given current trends? Am I ready to sell? What does my house need to look like to sell? I know sellers have all these things popping in their head, right? But
Right.
they haven't even talked to a professional yet. So Bess, take it away. What do we need to know as a home seller these days? Are we ready?
Oh my
Just put our house
gosh.
on the market,
Ta-da! There you go. Service. Holy cow. Okay, so let's unpack that. Number one question when I am asked to come in and chat with a family about selling is their ideal timeline, because that really is the driver for all other decisions.
Right.
Why? Because they don't want to sell until the oldest graduates from high school.
Right.
Okay, so now we've
When
got a
is that?
little bit more,
Right.
right? The whole point is uh, anyone can put a sign in front of the yard. If the purpose is to get it sold for the maximum dollar in the shortest amount of time, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to play the sold game. And that's one thing that 2026 is maybe the same as 2025, and that's a very ongoing 10 commandment rule in real estate is that
So
there's a process based on your timeline.
what I hear you saying is it's very individualized to your family's,
Yes,
you know, your timeline, you know, what your house needs to look like is
based
prob-
on your goals.
based on your goals. What price do you want to achieve? That determines what your house needs to
Mhm.
look like,
How your
right?
neighborhood is trending.
Right. You
Uh,
can't change that. I'm talking about things that they can change, right?
Fair enough.
If your neighbor is trending downwards or upwards, you're not but you can influence what your house looks like because now it's a product that's going on the shelf to sell,
The middle
right?
shelf.
Right. The
It's
middle
ideal.
shelf.
We want the middle shelf.
So, so with that being said, does somebody need to, renovate their house before putting it on the market? I mean,
Not necessarily.
right.
Not necessarily. It all depends. Number one thing to ask yourself when you're thinking about selling a house, whether it's in 2 weeks or in a year, and that is, if we were to stay for another 5 years, what would we change?
That's a good one.
That's the
Yeah.
number one question. That's a good starting point. Why do I say that? Because 99% of the public has a Pinterest board or something similar where they've got their ideals and their dreams and all their things. Whether they're in a house, whether they're in an apartment, whether they're in their second or third home, it's just how, right? Human nature. We're always homing.
Yeah.
Even if we're not pigeons.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you were to stay in this home, what would you change? Uh, that is a great guide because you are probably like most in that regard. And that is you want a big closet, or you do want a half bath for the pool in the backyard. You're tired of people walking through the house to get to the bathroom. Um,
So
so how is that a driver
yeah.
because it also becomes a driver as to how we proceed forward.
Right.
All right. So let's go back to that bathroom that's missing for that pool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That bothers you.
Right.
And instead of fixing it,
Right.
you would rather move.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, our future buyer is probably going to be thinking the same thing when they're looking at that house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the whole neighborhood walking through my primary bathroom to use it because that's the closest bathroom to
Right.
the
To the
pool.
pool. Right.
So that impacts how we market the house, how we decide, well, okay, if we're going to ask the buyer to overcome that deficiency, we have to wow them, have them fall in love in other ways. So, you know what? We're going to go ahead and instead of spending $25,000 on a bathroom addition, we're going to spend $3,000 and we're going to rip down the wallpaper in the kitchen
Right.
from the 80s and we're going to paint the whole kitchen. and we're going to add under cabinet lighting, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do all this because the kitchen's towards the front of the
Right.
house, gets them thinking how much they love the
Big wow
house
factor. Right.
before, and they're already in love before they discover, oh, honey,
But it doesn't
the
have a
kids.
bathroom.
The
Yeah.
kids are
Right.
going to have to
Right.
walk through our bathroom, or they're going to have to go to use our bathroom because it's the closest one to the pool.
But,
And then if they're in love, what's their thought? Well, we'll fix that later.
but to get back to your original point is if that's your current Pinterest board, I doesn't it have to line up with what the market wants? Like, I envision people having these eccentric Pinterest boards for their house, right? That they want this, purple bathroom.
Mhm,
And you're sitting there saying, "Why did you paint the damn thing purple?"
mhm,
I wish you had come to me first so we could have discussed what is on your Pinterest board
mhm.
to match it up with you wanting to sell in the next year, right?
True that.
Right?
Mhm.
Isn't that, because you can, I've seen houses that were purposely renovated for that owner and it didn't work for any other owner. So
Mm-mm.
that every other person had to walk in and think to themselves, I have to spend another 100 grand
Right.
to rip all this out and redo it. Right.
But we can still overcome that. Um, Selling a house is a process. We can still overcome that by price. If you price it right, people
Yeah.
are able to overlook things by
Right.
the fact that you installed, a bright pink urinal, bidet, and toilet side
Yeah.
by side.
Right.
And that they don't want any of that. They just want a private water closet where they can just,
And you think Bess is joking, she's not. Uh, w
right? But if you price it to where everybody else in the neighborhood is $1 million
yeah,
and you price it
that's right.
at 950 because you're recognizing the
That's right.
fact that people are probably going to spend $50,000 immediately to rip out your pink set. Which by the way, there are plumbers that buy those
They
colored
do.
toilets.
They do.
Whole
They have
nother deal.
resale value.
They do have resale value. But again, now it is a conversation and it is, home specific because the flip side is if you are a seller that says, I spent that kind of money on that pink set and future buyers,
It's gonna damn well appreciate it.
we're going to list it at a million five.
Right.
Um, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. It's probably not gonna work out for you.
and going back to trends of 2026, because of interest rates and because of the pandemic that is still fresh in people's minds, the tolerance for taking care of that pink set, very small, very, very small. I connected with a great couple that is starting the process of moving to Texas from their current home out of state to be near parents and we found a fantastic home, great deal. Um, does need extensive repairs, and I walk them through. Like my team, it looks like we could probably get this done for you to your Pinterest perfect
Mhm.
for about 100,000.
'Kay.
And this is what the house likely would have almost the next day appraised for, which was more than purchase price plus 100,000. So if we did this, we would have instant equity. All
Great.
right. They just finished remodeling their second vacation home, which is in California.
Mhm.
All right. So at the beginning of the conversation, they're like, okay, we've done this before, so we get it. All right. Ultimately, after sleeping on it and other things, they were like, we have tired head. We don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
So, and that's generally the perspective
They
of most people
rather buy something
nowadays.
that's already done.
They already, especially with
Yep.
interest rates at over
Yep.
6% or
And nobody
6%.
has the time. We're all so
Hmm.
busy working, we don't
Hmm.
have time to renovate a house, which is a
Hmm.
big undertaking,
Hmm.
right?
It is. It's slightly longer than a 30 or 20-minute TV show. Um, it takes a minute. And especially there's always fear, right? I would say, going back to talking about the sell your house conversation.
Mhm.
I would urge you please to search earnestly for education and not fear mongering.
Yes,
Like
correct.
don't let fear determine how
100%.
how you take the next step.
Right.
There is a process. We can make a plan. Um, Chatted with a family yesterday, and for them and their needs, what's going to work best is for them to move into a lease for 6 months to 12 months because of their particular
Yeah, their
circumstances.
timing. Right.
And then we're going to do some tweaking on the house and we're going to list it. And then we're going to figure out what's next. And that's part of the beauty of a 12-month lease.
Yeah.
And we have talked about leasing money. Leasing a property is just kissing money goodbye.
Right.
But for them, that lease, they're buying sanity. They're buying a chance to catch their breath. They're buying time to see exactly where the husband lands as far as
Job.
job and all these things. So it's worth it.
Makes
In the
sense.
meantime, they know their current house is no.
Right.
So that's our current solution. So it's
All right. So
yeah.
what I'm hearing you say is, the love it or list it mentality. You kind of have to go through a little bit of a process as to what your current home can be, and do you want to hold on to it and invest the money into it? If you don't, what do you need to put into the house to get it ready for sale?
To have the broadest appeal. To have the broadest appeal.
Let's be honest, no house is ready for sale when you first walk into it. And there's very few homes that you walk into, where the current owner is living there, where you say that it's ready to put on the market this minute.
Right. In fact, actually, it's a great example. I just put a home up for sale that I actually first time in a long time. That was my first instinct. Like, holy cow, we could take pictures tomorrow.
Right.
All right.
It's rare. It's rare.
However, um, and time was of the essence because of life and everything else. Even then, I would like to have had a little bit of time because of part of the selling process is getting through inspections and getting through appraisals. And there's always wrinkles.
Yeah.
And even that we could take pictures tomorrow house, the dictum for me as a fiduciary of a seller is to get them the most money possible. It would have been great to have the luxury of having a pre-listing inspection or something like that to kind of tweak those low dollar things that no one knew about that might seem to a buyer to be going back to that fear, going back to that fear that everyone seems to lead with sometimes in housing, because it is a big investment. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not something that you snagged on sale at Nordstrom or whatever. So there's versus just the emotional spontaneity of buying that cool purse. I mean, this is a big deal. So
also in 2026, I think it's still a fact that homeowners need to declutter their house before getting on the market, which is difficult to do for many people. But it's, I think 2026 people have less attention span, less patience. They want to see themselves in that house immediately. And I think that trend is only going to get worse. I don't think that's getting any better. So the more show ready you can make your house, when they walk in the door, they can literally picture themselves living in that house, the faster you get to an offer.
Fair enough, but don't deep dive into sterile.
No, you don't. You want personality,
Ah.
but you also don't want so highly personalized that current family is living there and not the new family.
And now we're going to a cocktail conversation because then we could talk about the nuances of all that.
Yeah.
Because
But most houses are over-cluttered with too much stuff where you can barely see the house, right? A lot of houses have too much furniture. Some houses have too little furniture, right?
Yes.
So you have to make it more personal and you have to make it warmer, right? So it can go both ways. But
absolutely,
many houses I see online are still super cluttered, and when I look at new listings, I go, where's that agent? Why didn't the agent say, we got to move all this out?
Oh, here is a hot sports opinion of 2026. Just say no to that overstuffed leather sectional.
100%.
There you go. How about that in summary? What's it 2026? Because even if people are filling their homes or their apartments with a heck of a lot of stuff, that is one trend for 2026 that is coming on strong, which is that minimalism, even if it's a minimalism fake out, minimalism being lines, clean lines.
That's what I'm talking about. It's not sterile. It's just that it's clean.
People want clean
It
lines.
makes your eyes focus on the right thing in each room.
Mhm.
And that's really what you want is you want people to focus on the right things. If the backyard is the main thing to look at when you walk into the living room and you have this giant piece of art in the middle of the
Right.
room, that
Or
giant
whatever.
giraffe that your eye goes to immediately, you're
Right?
not going to see the backyard. You're going to go, what's this? What's up with this
Yeah.
giraffe painting on the wall?
Think
You
of
know,
it as distractions.
right.
You want to eliminate the distractions when you're getting your home up for
Yeah.
sale.
Your house is a
And
product. You don't live there anymore when it's on the market.
mhm.
It's like an Apple store. The Apple store is designed in a certain way for you to buy Apple phones and Apple gadgets. It's not there to look pretty. It looks pretty,
They
but
don't.
that's a secondary thing, right? So, what is your house saying to the buyer? And is it enticing the buyer to buy the house? And I don't think that trend is changing because that trend hasn't
That's a
changed
that
in
I was gonna say that's a
timeless,
timeless
right?
timeless
And
fact.
and it's
Forget the word trend.
what many of you have to get over is that you don't live there anymore.
It's not personal.
It's
It
not
just
personal.
is.
You should be focused on your next house. You know, how much more enjoyment, how much better is that couch going to fit in your new house instead of the current one?
Fair
So,
enough.
right?
If it's an overstuffed leather
If
section,
it's
it's not gonna
overstuffed.
fit in any house. Just don't. That was very 80s, very 90s, very not now.
Yes.
I'm probably gonna get some sort of comments. Speaking of comments, please do. There you go.
Yes. Please
So
comment
glad
below.
you joined us again. And if you'd like to, and if you ready for another hot sports opinion, uh like and subscribe and you'll be the first to be able
We
to
give them out for
hear it.
free.
There you, yeah, all the things. Thanks for joining us.